What a conflict it is in the world and for all of us. We have the wonders of spring in much of Western and Northern Europe. Not here in the Canary Islands. We have summer all the time. But in Western Europe, and where most of you live, I think, you will be experiencing the great joy of springtime with snowdrops, crocuses, daffodils, a real sense of new life with the birds and the animals really frolicking, and it's a great time. But also, we are daily, I think, absolutely distressed by the terrible, terrible suffering in the world, especially on our minds at this moment is Ukraine and the people who are suffering there, the soldiers from both sides, the families of all those involved. A terrible time. And there's other places, Gaza, Africa, where there's all the suffering, terrible, terrible suffering. We cannot imagine the depth of the suffering. What conflict? How do we cope with this conflict between spring and new life and suffering and death? Well, our reading this weekend in our communion service on Sunday will be the reading of the Transfiguration when Jesus went with three of his disciples up a mountain, and before their faces seemed to be transfigured. They experienced that somehow he was glorified, and they held on to that. They didn't understand what it was all about, perhaps not towards the end of their lives did they really grasp it, but yet somehow it helped them to see that despite the terrible suffering that Jesus was going to go through, um, unbelievable suffering on the cross and being whipped and so on, terrible, terrible suffering, but yet they somehow managed to remember this moment of transfiguration, of radiance, of glory, and it helped them to see through the suffering and to realize that life is a mixture, and yet there is the prospect of love overcoming hate, of life overcoming death, and a real belief in new beginnings and an opportunity to start again. So we pray for all those who are suffering throughout the world in terrible ways. We give thanks for the glory of springtime, the glory of this world, and we pray that you and I will be able to see through the suffering and the awful things which are happening in so many ways, and we'll be able to somehow see that there is going to be a resurrection out of this awful time, and that their life will overcome death, and that love will overcome hate. So keep looking, try to see the best in all people, try to see the God in all people, and try to see somehow the goodness, the possibility of new life in everything, however hard it seems. So may God bless you. Continue, please, to be this person you are, giving life and happiness to other people. And remember how precious you are, and how wonderful you are, and how much love, and very important. God bless you.